but this is about how Marvel Rivals is dominating Overwatch. It's not even close. I thought we could watch it together. I think it would be pretty sick. I gotta watch this just to start the day.
We've all heard it said that hero shooters are a declining, oversaturated genre, and we know that there's a sizable graveyard. We just saw Concord die. But of course,
True.
that's an assessment that does not gel with Marvel Rivals' absolutely gigantic success. Because somehow in a year where everybody has been mocking publishers over hero shooters and generally just mocking a lot of live service titles, Marvel Rivals is absolutely thriving, and that is not an overstatement.
Like, it's actually insane how good Marvel Rivals is, or how they're doing, I should say. It like 500,000 players, 20 million players already is like actually killer. Well, I think Overwatch hit kind of the same numbers like in the first few weeks of launch. No, the 20 million.
It got 10 million players in its first 72 hours, and by now, it's actually hit 20 million. This is so much activity that Steam's backend even struggled, and for some developers, it broke. They were not able to access the Steam backend to update their stuff, and this was all timed with Marvel Rivals absolutely ramming Valve servers, and of course, their servers were getting rammed by both Tencent and NetEase, because at the same time, Path of Exile 2 did happen to be doing quite well. So much so that together, Steam actually hit a new concurrency record of 39.2 million users online at once, which is crazy. But that's not what's truly noteworthy to me. A free-to-play game exploding and then just falling to pieces, or people quickly running away, a flash in the pan, that is not a surprise. It's actually what we tend to expect. And on the internet, when people tell you something is shocking, it's often hyperbole. Here, no. This is a shocking chart. This is the retention that we are seeing.
Like, look, it's literally the same players coming back every single day. It's insane. Actually insane. Like, it still hovers around 400k
with Marvel Rivals, and this
is like during the weekday, you know?
This is genuinely impressive. It has essentially maintained its launch peak for an entire fortnight. This is a vanishingly rare achievement. It is absolutely stunning. The daily lows for this game are resting at 180k. And, well, they're good, the highs are good and regular, and I kind of remember the words of our erstwhile Prime Minister Theresa May, strong and stable. It's rare for a new game to be that strong and stable, and if you're Blizzard, you're absolutely going to be feeling a sting.
It's like if you put in a lot of good features that players have been asking for a long time, instead of just cosmetics galore. Like, Marvel Rivals doesn't even have a lot of cosmetics, if you think about it. There's not a lot of ways to spend your money in Marvel Rivals. At least not yet, we can say. But it's like, what? There's one, maybe two skins per character, right? But it's like, even then, like, it's the $15 for the whole bundle. So you get the whole kit of the character. So if you have one character you like, you get every part of it with them. You know, you get your MVP, you get an emo, you get all that. They have gameplay, you know, they have gameplay stuff, and they already have an event, like an in-game event, and so many free rewards and free ways. Overwatch didn't have many cosmetics when it came out. That's true. Oh, Overwatch didn't really have a lot, but actually no, that's not true. Remember they sold the starter bundle or the foundation bundle as a PvE is coming, prep your skins now kind of shit. I mean, old Overwatch, you also had to pay for the game, so that's different. Yeah, like, we can't be comparing Overwatch 1 to Marvel Rivals, because Overwatch 1 was its own stand. Like, you pay $40 and like that's buying the game, you know?
If you're Blizzard, you're absolutely going to be feeling a sting. So much so, you'll definitely need to check out today's sponsor. Or Boot.dev, they're a long-time channel supporter, and they actually just got...
It's not good to clump the two together. It's like, you have to think about them as separate games, because like, the people who made Overwatch 1 don't even work there anymore. Don't even work on Overwatch 2. I think there's like only a handful of people that stayed. Everyone else left.
Better. So what they do, right, is they teach you back-end development using Python and Go. They're structured as a community RPG. They're made by fellow viewers of this channel, and what's really nice is their clean, fresh new UI. And it's
Yeah,
so
it's
good
hard,
because
but
in the world of just
you just gotta
modern,
try, man.
soulless designs, they're actually leaning into RPG. I love it. It's so nice and rich. And on top of that, they've got another awesome feature called Spellbook that they just shipped, and it is so cool. So as you're progressing through lessons, right, you unlock new Spellbook pages, and these are all like fully
Mm.
searchable. They're full of
Oh, this is
concept
cool.
explainers, documentation, code examples, and you can bring it up with just the hit of a hotkey, and that's all unlocked in line with your progress, which is really powerful for learning. And that's really what I love about Boot. It's designed
Learning code is really
as
nice.
an overall
Yeah,
experience and not
RPG
just a product.
programming.
And when you're learning, I think that's just so important. Now, their learning pathway is substantial. You start from, of course, the basics like your Python fundamentals, learning the likes of, say, Lua, then through to really cool example projects like a server client Pokedex, through to a whole module on finding a job in industry, like actual practical advice, and bonus deeper learning modules as well. It's really cool, made by
That's
two
pretty
brothers.
neat.
You can tell that the whole thing is made with so much
Wait,
heart
full screen again,
because,
sorry.
yeah, big corporations just can't really do it like that. With my link, you get 25% off your first purchase. So I'd go for annual. That's how you save the most money. And of course, if it's not for you, they have a no questions asked 30-day refund. And of course, you can actually browse their materials and their demos for free. So what the hell's going on here? Marvel Rivals is a
Browse
free-to-play
demos
just
for
like
free.
Overwatch, but that's not really an even comparison because of price anchoring. Overwatch 1 was a paid game, and it was far less of a playable storefront than Overwatch 2 has ended up being, and that's what made Overwatch 2 sting. Of course, contrasted with all of the cool stuff that
Oh, that right there. Did you hear that? Overwatch 1 was playable. Oof. That has never been more true in my life. Nothing is worse than trying to launch Overwatch 2 to play it. I had to deal with counter swapping player when he was playing Squirrel Girl before and Star Lord Iron Man Magic and still lost. Yeah. But that's the beauty. Thank you, Thigh Knights, for popping in at the perfect time. Because you're about to prove my point here. The problem is that in Overwatch, you don't get to pick the character that you want to play. That's why Overwatch, when you're playing Overwatch 2, it feels like a job. Because when you're playing a role, you're like, man, I have to play Kiriko here. They have a Junker Queen. Man, they have to play, I have to play Diva because they're playing, or I have to play Zarya because they're playing Diva, you know, or whatever. I don't know. I don't counter pick. I just play Winton. But in Rivals, like, your skill on a hero matters way more than the hero that you're playing itself. You know, like as you said, you could play Squirrel Girl into these flying characters, but if you're hitting your shots, you're three tapping these fools across the map. You know, like if you can land your stun, you're cooking these guys. Like it's over. It all depends on how well you play as a player compared to how well your character plays against the other characters.
we were shown at BlizzCon that, of course, never ended up happening. With Rivals, well, it just has audience expectations being met. Everybody knows what to expect. I mean, for an extreme example, on this very channel, we caught a lot of flack for being harsh on the Delta Force microtransactions. To us, they were pretty damn bad microtransactions. That's why we criticized them pretty damn heavy in that
Oh,
video.
this game looks like
But
ass.
clearly, a lot of people didn't care at all, really.
But if I ever like, whenever I see video games that are just guns like this, like it's like the biggest hunk shoe fest. I swear to God, I hate COD style games. I don't understand like people who like to just aim at head level the whole time. Yeah, realistic is boring as fuck. Agreed. Like I'm here for fantasy shooting. You know.
And I imagine it's because it was a free-to-play game and it basically met their expectations. Here then, Rivals is made by NetEase Games. They're a group who absolutely know how to retain players based on the countless large-scale free-to-play live service titles that they run, many of which are, of course, are on mobile, and, well, they have many investments in so many other games as well. Now, brand-wise, this has got Marvel, but it's got a flavor of Marvel that, at least from my outsider's perspective, doesn't seem tarnished by MCU fatigue. I mean, looking at the game, they're clearly leaning into comic art in a way that's actually cool. Their designs shine. It is the opposite of Concord.
Like the characters in Marvel Rivals just have life to them, you know? Like they like from never hearing of Squirrel Girl before to like hearing her voice lines, seeing her gameplay, like it's so much, it's a breath of fresh air, you know? Like there is life breathed into this game. Like she has a one voice line where she mentions Deadpool and how she like whooped his ass or some shit, you know? And like that's killer. Like it's like, oh my god, I know Deadpool and she kicks his butt. Why? And you go read on the comics about Squirrel Girl and shit and find out that she can like I don't know, beat up the Hulk or some shit. Like she's like way stronger apparently than any of us thought. So like these characters, yes, they already have predetermined lore per se, and like 50 years worth of experience in Marvel kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like in terms of the characters themselves, they have 50 years worth of lore for all of them. But it's like the way that they're presented here, like it, they have life. They you feel that connection. Like when everyone looks at Jeff, and they're like, oh my god, like he's adorable as shit. They're actually, hold on, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but there's a Jeff voice line. There's a Jeff voice line that I forgot to show you guys the other day. Where is it? Well, I'll show you guys all this other stuff after. But here, listen to
Just
this.
the cutest.
This is a Rocket with Jeff. Okay, you ready?
Aren't you just the cutest?
Get ready.
Jesus Christ.
Like, like what the fuck? What is Jeff on, dude? What did he say? Like he's even Jeff, who mumbles, has more personality than Malga. It's actually insane.
It is the opposite of Concord. Concord's a game that did have a few banging bits of concept art, but my god, there are not even words to describe how badly that all translated into Sony Photoreal 3D. It just didn't work. But Marvel Rivals has another strength. It is not wholly original, and you may think that's me just absolutely launching it into an attack, but look, it is pretty similar to Overwatch, but that's not really the main point. One person who did try to make a point in this.
The only thing that is similar to from Marvel Rivals to Overwatch is the genre, but it's like comparing DC to Marvel. It's like, yeah, they're both superhero worlds or universes, whatnot, but they're way different. Like they're not. It's not the same.
Though, was Mike Ybarra, our dearly departed Blizzard president, who is still out there hunting down some tasty high-growth opportunities. He launched a rather infamous tweet. I'm just going to read it out for you, and hey, you gotta get it here because he deleted the original. Quote,
yeah,
looks
he deleted this shit, man.
It's like Overwatch Marvel rival ships tomorrow. I mean, even the character name, Widowmaker in Overwatch versus Black Widow in Marvel Rivals, lol. NetEase Tencent, all the same. Oh, Mike.
This got community noted. I remember seeing it. It was like Black Widow came out way before Widowmaker did.
Ike kind of had a point buried through the stupidity, but the tweet absolutely is just him literally saying that Black Widow, a character introduced in the year 1964, was a Widowmaker knockoff, which is not true. You could maybe say his actual point, though, is the character kits. In a way, it makes the point he was trying to make, but it also shows why people are resonating with this game. Black Widow has got a rifle, it's got a scoped mode that does more damage, she's got a grappling hook. So yeah, she will totally appeal to Widowmaker mains. But take a look at gameplay footage they have added to the kit. You've got a knockback kick, you've got a melee baton plus charged plasma round, and it does come together to actually play differently. Now, I get why Ybarra tweeted, but the gameplay here is different, especially with its close-range, third-person brawl element that's going on. And that's the point. Rivals does not just copy, generally speaking, it iterates. Now, there's always going to be genre crossover. Maybe I'm going to take a look at, say, Paladins from Hi-Rez, but Marvel Rivals is different. Like Overwatch, it's got the split between tank DPS and support, and many of the 33 launch heroes do have direct crossovers, some that are absolutely leaned into. I mean, Black Widow probably doesn't need to be
why
a
is this
sniper,
person, like,
yeah,
so zoomed in? Like, what is the scale of this person's UI?
Will definitely be like that to appeal to the Widowmaker mains.
No,
and some of them are inherent, like Hawkeye and Hanzo, who are both bow users, or Symmetra and Doctor Strange, who both use portals. But the thing that matters is that Rivals gets to cook with almost 70 years of inspiration and a wealth of real-world player experience from other hero shooters, and that means what we've got is a slick game that is an iteration rather than a clone. That is the point that Ybarra's absolutely dunked on tweet missed, and I think it's why this is a game that is actually surprising and delighting people. It has iterated and brought its formula forward. And in a way, it's done that against traditional wisdom that would say that hero shooter is on the downtrend, that there's MCU fatigue, and that the track record with hero games is actually pretty damn bad. When we think hero game, we're all just going to think of PlayStation Spider-Man, but that's because we've forgotten the massive graveyard of dead games, and even the Marvel graveyard, which will of course have Square Enix's Avengers in it. That was very much the lol cow of its here. But even good games that have got like big popular Marvel
Oh
super
god, I remember this. This game looked like shit. Like look at this garbage ass gameplay, man. Like it was legit like just cutscenes galore and clunky ass bugged gameplay.
lolcow of its here.
Let's
But
go
even
Rez.
good games that have got like big popular Marvel
Like, look at this
superheroes
dude.
have failed to meet financial expectations. We've got two examples of this. One is Guardians of the Galaxy and the other is Firaxis's Midnight Suns. And the thing is, those were both really good, well-reviewed games that just didn't sell. And then of course there's the now rather end-of-life Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Before that there's Gotham Knights. So it's not been a good time. By comparison, though, Marvel Rivals has got half of the internet standing Jeff
God,
the
he's so
Bloody
cute.
Landshark, who I didn't even know existed, and it turns out has only existed since 2019. So this is not a case of put heroes in it that people know and suddenly everyone will start playing. No, what they've done
Yes, this is the key. Is that Marvel Rivals has so many characters that no one's ever heard of.
is they've nailed the basics. They have carefully chosen some deep pools, they've chosen things that everybody knows, and they've executed it all to an extremely high standard. The mechanical diversity of this game, especially considering that it's only just launched, is absolutely insane. And that's a large part of why people will play it over Overwatch. One team can have, let's see, a teleporting ninja fight, multiple flight-based characters, web swingers, and where the web swinging actually feels good. If you've got Rocket and Groot, then you actually get an entirely new ability and game-wide mechanic on top of your existing set. And to quote from the game's director, the awesomely named Thaddeus Sasser, well, he basically said this: I don't know about you, but when I heard the concept of the game, I was like, oh my god, I want to be Storm in a game. I want to be Doctor Strange in a game. I want these heroes in the game. That sounds awesome. And of course, my mind immediately leapt to all the cool possibilities you could have with that. And that seems like a very trite thing. I mean, of course he's going to say that. He's the director for the game.
And they've done that really well. Like they have made the like fantasy of playing as the characters from Marvel like as close to possible while still maintaining their rules, of course. Like I keep seeing people complain that, oh my god, Hulk should hit harder. Oh my god, Hulk should do damage when he lands. Brother, he would be busted if he did any more than he does now. I like defensive Hulk. I still feel really strong when I punch people. You know, it's just about picking what time you get punched. You also have to realize that other people are really strong too. You know, like Spider-Man could easily fight the Hulk. Let's be real.
And it's absolutely not a fair one-to-one comparison, but do you know what appears in my head?
Yeah, Hulk has the best utility as a Vanguard in the game.
Suicide Squad, Kill the
Fun.
Justice League, where the first reaction from most people when they watched that E3 trailer was, oh, this looks like a generic third-person shooter. Why are we just doing shoot-bang with guns? This doesn't really feel like Heroes. Which, obviously, broad market perception.
Yeah, right now, so a thing with hero shooters that's very key is breakpoints, right? So this is something that like Soldier 76 had an issue with, where if he was at 20 damage per bullet, it would take 5 shots to kill someone, right? Which is like nothing to a soldier player. But if he's at 19 bullets, then it takes 6 shots. But that extra 6 shot matter way more. All headshots, of course, you know. But that extra shot or two matters so much because that like little bit of time frame matters so much in this game. And like a reason you see Hawkeye and Hela like dominating your lobbies is because they're just a little overtuned and they're too good at what they do right now, right? Like in most cases, a lot of characters will 2 or 3 shot depending on how fast they shoot. You know, someone like Squirrel Girl, like 3 shots, but she does an AOE with no fall off, right? Someone like Iron Man, his third shot does bonus damage. So if you time the third shot, you get I think 2 extra shots direct, and they'll die too. You know what I mean? Like it's all about timing and like there's depth to the characters here. So like there's so much depth to the characters that they can change these little breakpoints or even just the range of characters, and it affects them so much. And like this is something that all hero shooters have an issue with. Um, and that's just it. It's just figuring out these like little tuning. But what Marvel Rivals is doing well is that they're just like they're making it so each character still feels impactful in their own way. Like yes, healing is really high, but if you think about it, if you're shooting someone as Punisher, right? If you're shooting a DPS as Punisher, let's say, or another backliner, right, another strategist, and they get pocketed by one healer, you're effectively taking on a 1v2 if you think about it like that, right? But it's like it makes it so that you as the Punisher have to have better aim, right? To like potentially power through the healing that they have. Yeah, heals are powerful too, but it's not like the way it is in Overwatch is that heals are just really powerful and damage is really powerful, right? So you end up just like insta dying constantly. Like like the amount of health that you have just doesn't really matter, to be honest. Each character could have like you need to like double the health pools of the characters in Overwatch for it to feel even remotely close to how it does in Marvel Rivals. But someone like Cass pops out and a boom boom and you're dead, you know? So someone like Tracer comes out grrrah, and you're dead. You know, just like yeah, it's just not it's not the same. Widowmaker is the biggest offender of this. Like nothing is worse than walking from spawn, you know? You look to your other monitor, you look at Discord for half a second, boom, you're dead. Now you're walking back, you know. Which is like obviously 1 point, but even if you're playing consciously, it's like you take one peek, boom, you're dead. It's just not an enjoyable time.
Consumers thought was not enough to get that game any cut through. But look, that's enough lavishing this game with praise. Let's get back to business, especially because there's a statistic that puts this whole thing in context. Matt Piscatella's got 2 decades of industry analysis experience. He's the executive director of Circana. They're a long-time analytics firm. They are not small. You actually may know one of the companies they just acquired. Nielsen, as in Nielsen of television ratings fame. So they're a big fish with massive corporate clients. Literally, their stock in trade is actually having good analytics.
You're making the similar argument about being spawn camped by flankers or divers too, though. But does that happen in Marvel Rivals? I don't think I've ever seen a single person get spawn camped in Marvel Rivals. I don't think I've ever seen, like there ain't no way. Unless your ass is walking out of the spawn first, there's no way. Not as much as it should be happening. I don't think it can happen. With the way the maps are designed, like a lot of the spawn rooms are wrapped around corners, right? Like they're like you can do it if you're like sneaky and you're like off somewhere else. Don't get me wrong, right? But a lot of the spawn rooms are wrapped around corners anyways. Like from where the payload objective is. Like I'm thinking of like the Spider-Man map with the capture point and payload, right? The city one. It's like the first spawn is where behind the big ass building. It's like, okay, how are you supposed to get to that? No way. I mean, okay, a good you guys are saying like we're talking like the highest level now. Hi Albie. We're talking like the highest level, right? If spawn camping is only a problem in like Grandmaster and above, or even like Diamond and above, then isn't that all right? Isn't that not a big deal? Isn't that an expression of skill at that point? Because it's like how is someone in like lower elo supposed to get to that? Unless you're facing a Smurf, of course, it's different. Well, you know what I mean. Like I don't think it's that easily doable to spawn camp in this game compared to Overwatch. Like in Overwatch, only one person needs to be on the objective for the most part. But in Marvel Rivals, like to contest objective, you have to have multiple people on it. Otherwise, overtime stuff still ticks down. Still have the payload itself is a capture point that you have to collect for it to start moving automatically, right? Like you can go back and spawn camp, but the maps are just really they're laid out in a way to where it's not easy to sneak around, you know? And even someone like Psylocke who has like pure invisibility only gets to be invisible for like 4 seconds. So there's not a lot of agency for that.
Analytics. And what's great is Matt shares loads of games data in public. This chart shows the percentage of weekly actives by game title, and better than anything, this shows just how winner takes all this industry is, because we can see that the top 5 games hold 75% of audiences, like just by player numbers. And if you're an indie, in a way, that's okay, because you're fighting for the 25% of the audience, not the big 75%. You don't need that insane level of scale to be successful. But if you are a major AAA live service, you need to make a dent in that 75%, you need to fight with those games that are taking so many people in an absolute winner-takes-all industry. And of course, it's failing to do that leads to the life.
That's true. It like in the AAA game department, it's you're competing for the vast majority. So you can't just half-ass it, you know? Like a game like Concord, like they didn't appeal to anybody. Their characters are unappealing, the gameplay's unappealing, the monetization unappealing. All they did was invest a shit ton of money into a game that nobody would want to play in the first place. When you look at something like Marvel Rivals, they appeal to everybody who knows what Marvel is, which is almost everybody, right? They appeal to people who play shooters, which is a lot of people, right? They appeal to people who are broke by being a free to play game. They do a good job. Like Marvel Rivals is a hit, like every nail on the head exactly for what they need to succeed in the AAA department. Yeah, Rivals has COD players coming by. They have League of Legends players coming by. Like you see, like fucking who was it? Or they have like OTKs playing this game now. You know, fucking why is Pokimane playing this? I don't even know Pokimane plays games, but even she's playing Marvel Rivals. You know, it's like what is that about? What are some problems I already see? Like a lot of the problems in Marvel Rivals currently has to do with the player base and community for the most part, and a bit of balance issues. But we're only 2 weeks in, so to say anything about that, it's kind of wild. Lack of Vanguard player base, but the thing is, okay, we are too early into Marvel Rivals to know what could even happen yet, right? Like we're like 2 weeks in, right? And there isn't like yes, Hawkeye and Hela are annoying as shit. Don't get me wrong. But once you get to Diamond, where all the Hawkeye Hela players are at, anyways, they get banned out, right? Yeah, season 0 is 1 month. We're not even in. Like the game, like to to say that the game is not balanced day one is like, yeah, that's fine. You know, like hello, people still don't know that Groot walls do damage. You know, people still don't know that Cloak and Dagger ult makes you invincible. There's just the player base is just so obsessed with the very few things they see in TikToks that they ignore the 33 other they ignore the 30 other characters in the game that that nobody plays, right? Everyone, oh my god, Punisher, he's so strong. Brother, have you played Namor? Namor is the greatest anti-flanker of all time. You pop 2 turrets down, land one right click or a spear on a Panther or Magic or Psylocke, and they're cooked. You don't even have to shoot them afterwards. You know? That's just it. Like people haven't had the time to discover these characters, and everyone's sitting here playing the same 5 duelists every time. Why? Because they get the funny crit sound. When you play Psylocke, if you just spam left click, whether you're doing good or not, doesn't matter. You get crit markers, right? The thing is, nobody wants to play Vanguard or Strategist because not a lot of them give any crit markers. You can't crit. Like who's the only strategist that can crit? It's like Rocket, Mantis, and Luna, right? The rest I don't think can. And then you have Vanguards. Only Venom can crit out of the other ones. Yeah, most people don't even know that Hulk shield cancels Jeff ult. Same with Magneto shield. A lot of people don't know that yellow HP bars mean you can't get CC'd. You know, like it's such simple shit in the game that people just have not discovered yet. But don't worry, general guide incoming soon. I'll explain all that cool stuff to you guys. I'll teach you guys a lot of sick ass mechanics. Like for example, when someone gets slept by Mantis, if your teammate gets slept by Mantis, you could shoot the ghost on their back to wake them up. Just saying, dog. Like little stuff like that goes a long way. And when people understands that stuff, it'd be insane. This stuff isn't explained in game for some reason. Uh, because there's no way to explain it in game. There's there's no way to explain all these incredibly in-depth mechanics. I mean, true, like the HP bar stuff, there's no, it's not even on the website here. But if we go to someone like Mantis here, right? If we go to the abilities, right? Like see here, look this, like on this site here, official Marvel Rival site. It says right here, Mantis illusion will manifest beside. This is for the sleep ability, by the way. Mantis illusion will manifest beside the sedated heroes. Allies can attack this illusion to awaken the affected hero. Tells you how long. It tells you all the numbers. It tells you everything you need to know. But like in game, you get this, but on the website you get all this information. But the thing is, no one wants to read this stuff. They just want to play. So they play all the easy stuff. Do you need to implement in-depth stats into the website in game? Did you hear the dev blog that they plan to? Well, that's good. Like the more information, the better. But it's something like something simple. Like if you go to someone like Penny is a great character in this game. Yeah, she looks a little boring because when people play her, they don't sit in the webs. They don't do shit. But like the webs, where's the information on the webs? Where is it? It's supposed to say how the webs heal you. I don't think it does. I don't know why it doesn't. But the webs heal you and they give you movement speed. Where is it? Penny can like heal and move. She gets healing and movement speed in her webs. So much better. Winton, what up, Haikui? How you doing, buddy? Cyber web snare. Oh, did I pass it? Here, hold on. Okay, well, thank you then. I mean, I skipped it, but you guys saw it there. Man, it's only 12% damage boost. Yes, but every time you land a headshot, you get a charge back anyways. Saving my team twice from Magneto from Iron Man ult. If we lost the game, we would have crashed out. That's what I'm saying. Like this game has so many in-depth mechanics that people are just unaware of. Like Magneto ult gets stronger the more enemies shoot into it. Did you guys know that? The AoE gets bigger, the amount of damage it does scales up, stuff like that. Little things, and it sucks up all projectiles and bullets within the radius of it. Yeah, I use the alt to eat. What you do is like if you hear Judge, Jury, Executioner, you pop Magneto alt. He breaks it down before it explodes. You throw it at him, right? It can break if it's overloaded too. Exactly. That's the counterplay too. That's the thing. Is like not only can you abuse it as the Magneto player, you can abuse it the mechanic as the enemy to the Magneto player. You can either try to overwhelm the orb and break it and cancel the ult entirely, but a good Magneto player will beat his ass. There are so many counterplay options in this game. It's nuts that it doesn't matter how balanced the game is. It does not matter how strong some heroes are because there are a plethora of ways to get around these aspects of the game. Like a lot of the frustrating aspects, like it's so easy to get around. Yeah, you can overwhelm the ult and cancel it. Yes, it's insane. Also, hi, SB, hi, Queen, hello, greetings, Dianites, greetings, Nikki, and greetings, everybody, hello. Just making sure we all say hi.
Likes of, say, X-Defiant going under the way that it did, Concord immediately dying because there was no real universe where it was going to get itself to where it needed to be. And it's in that context that Rivals is actually impressive, because in a winner-takes-all industry, it has managed to get cut through. And this is what their director had to say. It's pretty wise. There's a switching cost. I've already invested in Overwatch. I've got 15 skins for Pharah. I'm not going anywhere. I think the trick is you need to have that reason that people want to come and play your game, and I think Marvel Rivals does that exactly with the superhero. And that's basically the big point. Nailing fantasy and using the comics as an excuse to go extremely hard.
Yes, I don't need to spend money in Marvel Rivals to feel cool playing the hero. That is the big key. In Overwatch, the highlights of the seasons are the skins that your hero gets, and if your hero doesn't get a skin, you are reliant on balanced patch notes to have your character be interesting.
On designs and to make those designs fundamentally appealing. That has worked. Look, I'm not trying to be cruel to Concord on purpose, but just look at the skin variants.
Yeah, look at this shit, bro. Why would I want to play as any of these characters? Like, this is just such muted, like, it's just not appealing to the eyes. Like, this guy's got a fucking flower crown on. I don't even know if it's a flower crown. It just looks like coral. Like, it just like, he looks like a piece of cotton candy you dropped in a puddle, you know?
Look at what they look like. And now look at the things that you can buy within this game. So, Mr. Herman Hulst of PlayStation, if you're confused about why Concord, which you reportedly were really bullish about, if you're kind of confused why it didn't really work out, This is a really good example, but even with all that good, there are two things to discuss. Number one, business model. It's coming under some critique, and for strange ways, because it does seem a little bit poorly thought out, but also that this game is actually walking a very similar path to Overwatch, and they are going to have to be careful and make sure that they do not step into all of the rakes that, of course, Blizzard stepped into, meaning that Blizzard hit themselves in the face. Monetization first, and I'd say that it's mixed, though fundamentally it does have something that Overwatch does not have in that it is a third-person game. Now, if you look at Counter-Strike, I mean, obviously...
Yes, I buy a skin on Marvel Rivals, I get to enjoy it. Like, biggest upside to third person. It is my favorite part. Nothing pisses me off more than watching all the Mercy players fangirl over all the Mercy skins and then only getting to look at the staff the whole time. Like, nothing makes... Like, why would you ever want to look at just the weapon of a Mercy skin? You know? I'd rather watch someone else play Mercy, like, in-game, third person, so you get to appreciate the beauty of the skin.
It's guns and knives, because those are the most tangible and visible things. But with, say, League of Legends, which has now got hyper-expensive skins that can cost hundreds of dollars, that's third person.
You get to look at this all the time when you play Storm, just saying. Like, if you're playing Storm, this is what you get to look at.
You can see your character. It's almost as if regularly seeing
the Psylocke skin. That's it. Okay, that's my last one.
The thing that you're expected to buy kinda matters. Rivals then has got the standard suite. It's got a battle pass, it's got cosmetic bundles, but where things get a little bit dementia-inducing is, of course, currencies is one of those. So all those things I mentioned are purchased using...
There is a lot of currencies in it, but if you think about it, there's only one premium currency. The rest is free currency you can use, and a lot of the stuff you can buy is with the free currency in the first place. Aside from the battle pass initially, the battle pass is the only one that you need the premium currency for. Everything else is free currencies that you build throughout missions and throughout whatnot. So you can earn yourself a free skin bundle just by playing the game and completing achievements.
Units, and you can get units through battle pass progression, challenges, events, and...
Oh, that's a good point, Mold. Storm is a really fun hero to play. She might not be super high tier, but her kit is still awesome. Exactly. Like, the thing is, Storm... Like, we know that Storm isn't the best character in the game, because you never see that character. But when there is a Storm in the game, it's not like they're detrimental to your team. No one's like, oh my god, you have to swap off Storm. You know, like, you get to still play the character that you want to play. It's the same with Iron Man, exactly. Like, in lower elos without Hulk, like, Iron Man is, like, he's not the best. But you can still play him, and you can still succeed, and you can still have fun. And that is the key. Yeah, Storm literally destroyed lobbies. Her AoE is huge back then. It's insane.
Something that NetEase knows very well indeed. Promo codes. So you may not know this if you don't play them, but promo codes are a massive part of the gacha game world and culture. Basically, gacha game players are not stupid. They know that it is a crazy gambling hellscape, but the peace is kept because the gacha companies generally deliver a shitload of content, and they're often quite generous when it...
Exclamation mark skin, by the way, if you have not claimed this code. Exclamation mark skin, and you get the you get what's it called? Code in chat to copy paste, and you just claim it in game. There you go.
Comes to things like promo codes, especially in major holidays and anniversaries. So their inclusion here is a smart leg up on the Western competition. It means if they just want to hit the engagement lever, they can do that. Now what's odd then is the premium currency, which is called Lattice. It's $1 per 100, it's purchasable in discounted bundles, which all seems completely normal. But what's strange is it's used in only one way, converting all of your Lattice into units at a 1-to-1 ratio.
That's not true. You use it to buy the battle passes specifically. So you have to pay physical money, or well, digital physical money, to be able to buy the battle passes. That's the difference. But you still convert it. Like, you could still earn the free currency in game,
which does feel really quite overcomplicated. Then, of course, like Fortnite, there is a currency that you use within the battle pass to unlock things. Now, I have noticed pricing is raising some eyebrows. I mean, yes, things are extremely expensive in free-to-play games. You're basically looking at bundles costing $20 worth of units or $35 worth of units if it is an MCU thing. And of course, to explain the MCU thing, well, obviously, the mouse has got to get its cut. But there is one thing where I actually think we've seen good movement here. the Marvel Rivals Battle Passes do not expire, just like Halo Infinite and just like Helldivers 2. This is one of the things that I have been hammering on about for quite a while now in the industry.
Yes, 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 yes. Nothing is worse than playing Overwatch and realizing you have 2 months to earn 200 levels to get all the cosmetics and titles and whatnot of the battle pass that you already paid for. Nothing is worse than that. Hi, reminiscent, welcome. Nothing is way worse. Like, it's actually crazy how much like NA developers have forgotten that games are supposed to be fun and enjoyable on your own time. It is absurd to think that you have to log into a game to get the value of the money that you already paid them. It's absurd to think that way, man. And like comes the next battle pass for Marvel Rivals, if I don't like some of the skins in the current battle pass, but I like a couple, I'll buy the battle pass. Like I bought this battle pass, right? And I like let's say I don't like the Hella skin section, right? I just don't have to buy it. I can save the currency for when the next battle pass comes around and get the skin that I want immediately. Now, granted, they will have a certain amount of earning amount that you need to do through missions or whatnot, but that's just playing and leveling up the battle pass anyways. Practice is accountable, which is honestly something you wasn't expecting. Yeah, like it's crazy. Like it's insane that we're sitting here whole I keep reading stuff on Twitter about like how people are so excited to just spend money on Blizzard, but then every time I see anyone talk about gameplay, they're always disappointed. It's absurd.
I think that expiring battle passes, say in Overwatch 2 and so many other games, are basically tantamount to FOMO exploiting pseudo theft. I mean, the idea that you could buy one of these things and then it'll just go kaput, and that they actually weaponize FOMO to sell you progression through the thing that you already bought.
Not only that, it's a big waste of game assets. Think of something like the Ramatra skin. You guys remember in season 2 when we got Poseidon and Ramatra? Poseidon and Ramatra is such a banger skin, dude. But now if you miss season 2, if you miss those two months of playing the game, you'll never see that game again until it releases as a recolor for $30 or $25, whatever it is.
Because whenever you buy a battle pass, yeah, you might intend to finish out the thing, but life can get in the way.
Exactly.
If that happens in this video game, you're still going to have your battle pass. You will not have been screwed. Blizzard will happily screw you in all of their games with the way that they do their battle passes. So this is absolutely a good move, and I hope that a real major game that is doing numbers like this, implementing this type of battle pass, actually gets rewarded, because this is what needs to be the norm. So overall, it's mostly standard, a little bit of a mixed bag, but they have made a major piece of progress. The next thing to talk about then is the challenge of running a game like this, because already they are seeing cries and demands from players for the sorts of features that some people in Overwatch loved and others didn't. Launch.
If he's gonna start talking about roll queue, and roll queue is just like it's just a bad idea for Marvel Rivals, straight up. Players are limiting themselves. Like the game is so new that what people have done in their first time playing is to go, okay, I'm gonna log in and I'm only gonna play Psylocke because I think she's hot, right? Same with Moon Knight, I mean, aside from the hot part, I mean, he's cool, whatever. You know what I mean? Like people will just lock in and play one, maybe two characters at best. What I think the biggest joy in Marvel Rivals is being able to play so many of the characters. And not only that, like you can swap between them whenever you want. Like if you have tank players on your team, like yesterday, I had two tank players in my lobby, and they're like, "Oh my god, we need more damage." I was like, "Fuck it, bro, I'll play Punisher." You know that if we have multiple support characters, be like, okay, like multiple support players, it's like okay, like these guys they don't have to play support. They can play DPS too. Yeah, it's more fun to flex. Like roll Q will just kill the game. You know why? Because all these gooners and all these fucking duelist cringe players are just gonna sit there waiting in queue 10 minutes to have Hella Hawkeye be banned anyways. You know, you're all like my queue times won't get affected because I'm a tank player, right? I'll still insta queue every game, and everyone else will have to wait the 10 minutes for me to be done so that they can play with me. Like that's like it's just reducing the queue time is probably the biggest point that Overwatch struggles with the most, right? Like you can't like remember when supports were strong like in season 8 and before, like support queue times were like 10-15 minutes. You're sitting there waiting. Like, imagine waiting to play the game. There's not only like you're sitting there wasting your time the whole like waiting to play the video game that's supposed to be a pastime. Like if we go to Overwatch now, anyone who's sitting in queues probably sitting in queue for 10 plus minutes. I probably won't go. When you're gonna sit in queue for so long for 10 plus minutes for a 10-minute game, anyways, right? As a duelist one trick, I've opened myself to tank. I've had most fun shitting on people with Groot. That's what I'm saying. Like, but it's not like you don't get the chance to still play duelist, right? There are still games where you can play, but it's like there's times where like, man, I haven't played Groot in a bit. I don't mind, you know. Oh, I play support all day. Maybe I could try some Iron Man if there's a third one. It'd be sick, you know. Whatever you want, kind of thing. Like, there's so much flexibility, and that's what I like the most is its flexibility in this game. Like it opens up avenues to interesting gameplay mechanics.
Overwatch 1 was a blast. It was an often busted blast, and many of us experienced that with the classic.
Yeah, solo tanking in Marvel Rivals is like way better than in Overwatch. Even though there's like 3 DPS you're facing, you know? Hard metas can't dominate every single game. Exactly. And the ban system also prevents that, right? They instant lock what they want, and that's it. But that's why they'll be low elo. You'll get it. Got GM today with Solo Hulk. Let's go, dude. Pog.
Event. Now, with top-down pressure to focus in the Overwatch League and an internal desire to actually make Overwatch 2 PvE instead, so that they could have a stepping stone to something that would approximate Project Titan, the failed MMO, it's safe to say that Overwatch struggled with direction just a little bit. That still is playing out today, where Overwatch has basically morphed into its PvP self, and if you had hopes for anything else, well man, that just sucks. Now, Rivals is a bit like launch Overwatch. Some shit is completely busted, and it's a bloody good time that's thrilling players, but it does mean they're seeing similar pressures. A lot of people want some form of role log. They will also want some form of role queue. How are they?
Again, role queue is just for the DPS players that don't want to swap. And they don't know what they're asking for. They want the luxuries of having 2 tanks and 2 supports on their team without having to play them. But they won't realize like they just can't wrap it around their heads that they'll be waiting in queue for 10 minutes.
Going to deal with this? And I say that because we've tipped.
Now it's also the fault of Marvel Rivals because they've released, you know, there's more duelists than vanguards and strategists combined, and like that is straight up the fault of Marvel Rivals. They've released too many duelist characters that, and a lot of them are really fun, and that's just it, right? Yeah, they need to even it out. But what I'm assuming is going to happen is that over time, as more seasons come by, they could just release more vanguards. They can release more strategies. Like let's say next season comes by and they're like, okay, we're gonna give you guys, we're gonna release 2 vanguards, one duelist, and 1 strategist, or you know whatever combination, but minimize the amount of duelists that they release, kind of thing, so that they still appeal to the duelist audience, but they also open up the avenues and eyes to the duelist players to try out the new characters. And I think that's what the goal is. Like I have no clue about what's happening next season, so this is all just a guess. But I'm assuming that they're going to have like 2 tanks or 2 supports get released in the game, and people will start to play those characters because they're new. You know, they'll use the new shiny toy to incentivize people playing them. Like do you guys remember in the beta test when they released Thor and you got to see Thor every game, even though he was dog shit, everyone just wanted to play Thor because who doesn't want to be the god of thunder, you know? Like who doesn't want to at least try that out once, kind of thing. And if you like him, then you stick with him, kind of thing. Same with Venom. They released Venom in the beta test, and everyone's like, "Holy shit, it's fucking Venom. He's badass, bro. Look at him, tentacles. You know, it's insane." People will play the new stuff.
Typically seen live service shooters through a ranked progress first, esports focused lens, something I see a lot of pushback to in comments of our videos. So navigating that is going to be a challenge here, especially because they have got such a broad audience. An audience that, in terms of its dynamics, I would say is far closer to the Overwatch 1 ginormous audience than the far smaller and I suppose more clearly competitive PvP focused Overwatch 2 audience. Now, where Overwatch was torn between multiple directions, it's clear that things are going to be a little bit different here because this game is launching the way that it was intended. It's got 3-month seasons, multiple maps and heroes a season. That's the way that the thing is set up. They also get to have obvious marketing around films, major comic things, games, but right now, its real strength is a distinct lack of a calcified ranked PvP focused culture, which is what's set in Overwatch 2, where of course lots of people within that culture don't agree with each other on what direction the game should go in. And what that essentially means to me,
I feel like a lot of players in Marvel Rivals are way more casual. Now, granted, again, we're only 2-3 weeks in, okay? So I feel like a lot of people. No, I don't pay attention to leaks. I feel like a lot of people are they're sorry, I lost my train of thought. What were you saying?
that culture
Oh, a lot of people are casual players. Like I've talked to a couple of streamers and they're like, yeah, I just play quick match, you know. Unless a lot of people have like hard grinded in the betas and alphas, they're not really playing ranked as much. Now, granted, there are people that play ranked, but even me, like I'll sit here, I'll play like 10 games of quick match, and then I'll play like 10 games of ranked, and then I'll end the night with 10 more games of quick match, and we'll just vibe and have a good time, you know. Like I like quick match isn't even that bad. Like it's nice. Now, granted, a lot of duelist players in quick matches, but those are just the fun characters, and I don't like people do complain, but that's probably because they also want to play duelist. But fill a game here or two, and then be stubborn.
don't agree with each other on what direction the game should go in. And what that essentially means to me is that in terms of gameplay, this is the inheritor to Overwatch 1's crown. Now, from a world building perspective, it is not an inheritor to Overwatch 1, and that is the thing that's tragic about Overwatch 1. So many people fell in love with the world, only to be profoundly let down, where the Overwatch world has basically just turned into an excuse to have branded crossover events.
Yeah, this game went from having life and story and lore developed in game to now just being a bunch of voice lines that no one gives a shit about. Having a bunch of characters that appear out of nowhere that like have no ties to the Overwatch lore. Like, how does Ilari like get accepted into Overwatch? How does she meet Winston? You know, how do these characters know each other? There's no way. I understand Juno literally fell from the sky, so everyone had to see that shit. But like Malga, like how like Malga just inserted into Talon for funsies, you know. Ramatra was developed way before Overwatch 2 released even. So like he's got his own lore, but then like they launched Invasion and then they're like, "Yep, that's it." You know, you go break a factory and it's like, "Yep, that's it. No more Ramatra stuff. It's over."
We live in hell, but at least
Yeah, they don't even tie their own lore. They can't even get the character ages right.
if you like that gameplay, you've now got a game that seems catered to you. And NetEase's challenge then is avoiding the mistakes of Blizzard. On balance, I actually think they will largely succeed in this one, but only time will
Agreed.
tell. And if you want to check out another pretty hot bit of news, this video next.
It's a good video. Banger video. Bellular always does a good job. If you guys don't watch Bellular videos, I don't know what you're doing. This guy does a fantastic job at covering a lot of things Blizzard related. You know, we can even peep.
Last time we left,
it does a lot of he covers a lot of game news and whatnot. You know, he talks about Valve, Path of Exile, and branching out more past World of Warcraft, which is really good for him, and he seems to be doing really well. So, very proud of this guy. Great, and thanks for the commentary and insight. You made a lot of fantastic work. Thank you. I like you guys. Think. You watch him. You watch Winton. Well, Winton watches him, so in turn, you also watch Fog. Winton.